If you were to ask, what is the narcissist kryptonite? There are a few things that come to mind, but one thing that does come to mind is people who they cannot control. Narcissists, they are intimidated by people they can't control. People who are independent. Not people who say they're independent, but in fact have hidden dependencies, but people who are actually independent thinkers are happy just to do their own thing if the alternative is any form of unhealthy bondage. The thing is, narcissists, they think that most people are weak. And to test whether or not the person is weak, they see if they can control the person. They see if they can find a pressure point, maybe a certain vulnerability, and use that to control the person. Here's the thing, even if you accept that maybe everybody does have a certain vulnerability, a certain unhealed trauma, even if narcissists can identify that in people, there are a lot of people that they're able to sniff out a manipulator from a mile away. So even if the narcissist can push against those core wounds, the person won't entertain, the person won't give them airtime, the person won't engage because they know they're dealing with a manipulator. So even if narcissists are good at sniffing out people's core wounds and vulnerabilities to control them, it doesn't always mean they can actually control the person. It does work a lot of times. Perhaps it even works more times than not. But it doesn't happen with everybody. And narcissists, like I was saying, they think most people are weak, and they test for your weaknesses by seeing how easily they can control you, seeing how easily they can get you to conform to them and create a certain bondage towards them, a certain dependency towards them. And of course, that makes them feel good about themselves. But when the narcissists, when they realize that you're not the kind of person they can easily impress, when you're not the kind of person that they can easily, uplift you, because narcissists like to be able to uplift people's spirits. Because if they can uplift your spirits, they can also put your spirits down. So narcissists like being able to play both ends. But if you're the kind of person that's neither here nor there, they might tell you that they made $1 million. They might tell you how they've won a special award, and they want to watch you be all impressed by them. And if you're the kind of person that you just aren't impressed by anything they have to say or any of their accomplishments, but you're not putting them down either, you're just neither here nor there, then they will see you as somebody who they can't control. They'll see that you're not weak like most people, but at the same time, they have this certain respect for you. And it's an interesting thing because when the narcissist can't control you, they have a strange respect for you. But it's kind of counterintuitive because you think, well, if the narcissist can't control you, then surely they might get frustrated by you and they don't want anything to do with you. Well, occasionally that happens, but more often than not, if the narcissist ever had any specific interest in you and they find that you're an independent-minded person, you're doing your thing, you're happy to do your thing, and you're not easily swayed into somebody's manipulative graces, they do tend to have this strange respect for you. And they become drawn into that. And it's almost like they see it as a game. They're like, okay, well, if I can get this person on my side, then that must mean I'm a brilliant, great, highly desirable, highly competent person. Because for them, it's just a bigger and better challenge. And it's like if they can conquer you, then they'll feel so much better about themselves and they can almost conquer the world. That's how they feel. But the thing is, a lot of people, they simply don't entertain the narcissist in that way because they don't need the narcissist. And if you started off having some kind of short-term relationship with one. And, you quickly realize that it's not going anywhere because you're doing your thing and they're trying to test you to kind of bring you in a certain direction where all of a sudden you're under their influence quite heavily, under their control quite heavily. If you just kind of go out and do your thing, then the narcissist, they get very irritated, they get very frustrated, they get very angry, they feel intimidated, but they also feel a certain level of respect for you. It's like, narcissists are the kind of people that they're always playing games. And the way they see it, if they start playing games with you and they start messing about with you and you just ignore them, you just kind of go about your business, do your thing. Maybe you just, decide you don't want to have any more dealings with them. In a way that surprises them because narcissists, they're used to people being super grateful for just being in their presence. They're used to people being super thrilled just by having the narcissist pay attention to them. Narcissists are used to people just, you know, partaking in their manipulations, accepting it almost as if, it's the best thing that could happen to them in their miserable life. But when you're the kind of person where you don't accept that, you're okay not to have them being in your life, then there's this heavy weight that just kind of comes across the narcissist where they think you're a challenge that they need to overcome. Like they have to up their game, they have to become more manipulative, they have to. But if you're an independent person, independent minded, you don't go in more deep if you see red flags, and you instead you start to detach. The narcissist, they have limitations of what they can do to you, and that's where they kind of go into this denial because in their mind everybody should be manipulatable, everybody should be weak, they should be strong, everybody else should be weak, and they should be able to get that control over you. And it's quite fascinating how the ones who they're most intimidated by, most frustrated with, are also the ones who they respect the most, and they start honing their sights in on more. But eventually narcissists, they do need to accept that not everybody does fall prey to their games. Not everybody is someone who can be easily broken down and held hostage forever. Some people just don't entertain that. And that's what narcissists struggle to accept. And that's what they try to prove otherwise to themselves. They like to think that they can break anybody down. Not anybody per se, but if someone who they've had their sights on and they felt, you know what, I can get under this person's skin. When they've had that kind of thought process and they've really kind of set their eyes on you in that way, it's really hard for them just to let it go, accepting that you never quite succumbed. But that's a challenge, of course, that they have to face. And it doesn't matter how heavy the energy is, which is kind of facing towards you, because narcissists can carry quite this heavy energy where they feel like they need to kind of almost consume you energetically. They need to absorb you almost to feel good about themselves. Just keep that dark cloud away from you because it's not really something you want to get too close to. Thanks for watching.